Hello everyone, and welcome back to the continuation of my game. My dungeon game, that is. So jumping straight back into it, the first thing that I am doing is I am making the coins, the pictures of the coins a certain size so that when they sit in my game, they don't look too big or too small, they can be seen just right by the player. This is me now just testing out the size of the coins that I've done to make sure that it's right. I then click on the animation tab so that I can make the 4 different coin objects that I'm selecting now an animation so that they spin round when the game plays. When I first did this, the speed was at 60 and it span round, as you can see, quite fast. So I changed that so that the coin would spin a little bit slower, so it seemed more real for the player when they played the game. As you can tell, I'm doing this a little bit different. I've already recorded the footage, but I'm recording over, like a voiceover. So it might be a little bit off while I'm trying to explain the things that I'm doing, but I'll do the best that I can. This is the animator window you're seeing right now, and this is what will make the animation of my coin play as soon as the game starts, because it hasn't got any conditions or anything like that. So as soon as you click play, this coin will automatically spin. At the minute, I'm just checking to see that the player doesn't do anything to it. There's no collider or anything. So the player just walks through the coin at the minute. So what I'm doing now is I am now taking the coin that I've just made and I'm turning it into a prefab. This will mean that all the stuff that I attach to it later, when I pull it into the game, it will automatically have everything on it. This means that I don't have to add it all separately. When putting different coins into the game, I can just click and drag them in as and when I need them. So this is now my entry level with 4 coins in. So after the entry room, after I'd sorted the coins out and put them in, I then had to go on to putting a canvas into the game. This would allow me to put the score of how many coins the players got on the screen so that they could see it. During this process, as you'll see as the video goes on, I have to make a few edits because I have to keep going back and forth to make sure that I've got the right size font and that it's in the right place when making my canvas. So as you can see right now, I'm just adjusting the alignment and where the text is going to show up on the screen when it plays in the game. When I first did this, as you can see now, I couldn't get the writing to pop up because the square that holds the text was too small to be seen. So as you can see now, I'm now just adjusting that so it covers the entire canvas, so that anything that I now put in the canvas will appear where I place it to appear on the screen within the game. So after I've done this, I just check to see that the 0 is in the top left hand corner where I've put it, and then I check in the game as well, which is in the top left hand corner. So after this, I then decided that I was going to put a little icon next to it, so just a little picture of a coin to represent to the player that that's what they've collected and that's how many they've got. During this process, as you can see, it took me quite a while to get around everything, but after I put the coin, the display of the coin, so that the player could see the coin, I then had to adjust the different sizes so I could make sure that it was a good shape so that it was obvious what the player was looking at. Now with this, I had to first click on the canvas, right click it, and then I had to add an image to the actual canvas itself so that it would display to the player. And then after I did that, I had to go back into my coin images and attach that to the actual text box itself for that image so that it appeared on the screen. I then had to readjust the size of this. And then on the canvas itself, in a minute, I then have to move it about so that it sits perfect with the 0. This will allow the player to easily see how many coins they've got, and it's always there in that corner so that people can't get confused with the coins on the map, so they don't try and collect them. This took some time to get right. I had to move the coin a little bit more, then put it back, then I had to move the 0 on the text box itself to make sure that was in the right place. So this was a lot of trial and error while doing this. However, I do eventually get this in the right place that I'm happy with. I do try to move its alignment within the text box to see if I could be creative with where I wanted to put it. However, I did just decide to leave it where it was, thinking that would be easier. So I'm just aligning up the picture now with the 0, so that when the player collects a coin, the 0 goes up to 1, and then it goes back to normal. Now, this box you see here, with all the lot of red, while I was doing the script, which when I was recording this, I completely forgot the script wasn't going to be shown. So I'm going to try and add pictures later so that I can show you what the script I was working on. They're very simple scripts. One allows you to like pick up the coin and the system will change to how many coins you've got. And the other, this part here was the issues I was having with the script, but I can't show you that because I didn't realise the scripts weren't recording. But I managed to fix those problems, and I got the coins to spin. And after I cleared all the faults and everything, I then realised my coin prefab, I forgot to give it a collider. Now, a collider is something that the player collides with, and it will allow you to pick up the coin. So the second script that I did with that was to pick up the coin, and then it destroys the coin. So I needed a script for the text message to tell the 0 how much to go up by with the coins, and then a second one to tell the coin to destroy after you'd picked it up. As you can see from this prefab that I made earlier, this is where I need to add the collider onto, because every time I drag the coin out, it won't have the collider on. And for some strange reason, at first when I made this with the collider, I set it to as trigger, and as you can just see, I've just turned it off trigger to see if that was the problem. But without the trigger, the player can't collide with them. So something within my entry room is setting off the trigger points for the coins. So the 4 coins I put in there automatically were going as soon as the game started. So what I did was I set it back to trigger. I changed the collider to see if that was the problem, to see if it was knocking anything else in that room, to see if this would solve that problem for me. However, this doesn't seem to be the case, and the 4 coins still disappear. So I decided to see if it was just a problem with this room or if it happened in every room. So I put coins into a second room of the prefabs to see if that would allow the coins to stay, because if it works in a different room, then the problem I'm having is with the colliders in the entry room, which is something that I'll have to look into. I think you can see right now the entry room with the 4 coins that I put in now. Yep, this is where I click on the prefab. Because I didn't click on the prefab to begin with, this is where I put the 4 coins in now. So this means every time this entry room spawns, those 4 coins will spawn in that exact same place. But I forgot to delete the original one, so there's 8 coins on there. So I delete the original 4 and I keep the 4 prefab ones. Eventually, what I would like to do while I'm deleting these is I'd like to have automatically spawned objects, so that it's not just prefabbed in the same place every time the game loads. I want it to be different experience for the player. So everything will spawn in different places, the enemies, the coins, all that kind of stuff. So I think this is the part now where, yeah, I'm now about to just try to put coins in different rooms after I delete them from the entry room, knowing that this room doesn't work. So I go on to, which room did I go on to? Oh, no. Before I went onto a different room, I tried to highlight the entire field to see if there was any colliders in the wrong place, or any colliders that could be acting with the coin collider to make them disappear when it first loads. This unfortunately didn't come up with anything useful. So this was when I decided to change to a different room, and I've put my coin prefab in there. This was just a test to see if that they appeared in the right room. So I made that's got trigger on again, and this is, you can see that the coin's there, my player runs into it, and both scripts the work. So the coin disappears and the point system goes up. So I was happy to realise that this worked. After this, I then went on to check some more coins within a different room to see if that they worked. As you can see at the minute, I'm doing a lot of working about different parts of the room to get everything to line up. I think this was a problem with the canvas. In the coin, I think the 0 wasn't in the right place. However, this was easily fixed. So after making sure everything else worked, I then had to go back into the canvas, realizing that some of the coins weren't connecting. So as you can see, I'm zooming out back on the canvas because the 0 and the coin weren't lining up. So as you can see, I'm trying to move the coin to see if I can get that to work. I think eventually I actually put it in the middle. I remember saying I'm putting it to the left, but now that I'm rewatching this, yes, I did in fact move it to the middle of the screen. And as you can see, you pick up the coin and it comes up 1, second coin, 2. So it only goes up in 1. I'm not sure yet if I want them to be a part of a shop, like where you can buy items, or if it's just going to be a score, like have a scoreboard on there for the highest player. But we shall see as the game develops, because this is still quite early on. I'm still looking into making other worlds and stuff like that, but this was the second prefab room that I tried to put coins in to see if it worked in that one as well. And then after I've done this coin system, I'm in debate about whether I'm gonna start getting the player to attack or the enemies to attack, or carry on with the second world, like making of the second level. This will all be stuff that I have to think about, but I was very happy to get the coin system into the game. As you can see, I'm now loading up my prefabs with coins. This was just to double check that everything was alright when the game played, and I found out eventually that everything worked well, just apart from the entry room that I need to look into. So this is the final clip of it. Thank you very much for watching.